Okay, great. Again, my name is Eric Schneider. I'm with Straight Up Solar. Thank you for joining us tonight for our solar webinar, Spring into Solar, with an array of 2025 Illinois incentives here. I'm really excited to be joined by two of my favorite colleagues at Straight Up Solar. Shannon Fulton is our Vice President of Pre-Construction. She oversees Straight Up Solar's collaborative pre-construction process, including project management, permitting, interconnection, and incentive. Shannon's one of the most knowledgeable people about solar in the state of Illinois. She is the board vice president and policy co-chair for the Illinois Solar Energy and Storage Association, and currently serves as the board secretary and policy committee member for the Amicus Solar Cooperative. So Shannon brings a great wealth of knowledge in the state of Illinois, but also nationally on a policy framework and an operation framework. She's also a solar PV system homeowner, and her system has been producing well for the last 10 years here. And as you can tell from the side here, we were really fortunate to pull over our top commissioning specialist from the road. He's right in the field here. Tom Ohnemus, our commissioning specialist. His job is to make sure that our solar systems that we install are producing at the appropriate level and are safely connected to the utility grid. Tom has his North American Board Certified Energy Professional certification as a PV installer, which is the highest level for a PV installer. Tom also owned his own solar company, so he has a broad expertise from solar design to installation. And he was up there today at Lake Forest Academy doing some commissioning work and back on the road. So every day Tom is at a new site and very knowledgeable. We start getting into the details of smart inverter rebates and battery storage, the technical element here. So Tom, thank you for joining us from the road. I appreciate you taking time out wherever you're at in the state of Illinois today. With that, I'm going to turn it over to, and Tom will answer your questions, but Shannon will be doing most of the presentation today. Tom, you want to say a word quick and say hello, make sure we got the audio working for everybody?
Hey, can you hear me now, Eric?
Perfect, Tom. Thanks for
Awesome.
joining us. I hope you're safe wherever you're at in Illinois, and it's a bright sunny day wherever you're at.
Thank you. Yes, I'm just south of Chicago, and it's bright and sunny, a little cool up here, but yeah, no rain, so I'm good.
Okay, great. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for being online to answer the questions for our attendees here today. So Shannon, today's topics, we're going to talk about the growth of solar in Illinois. Again, the broad panoply of incentives that are available for Illinois residents and businesses, from the federal investment tax credit, the Illinois Solar Renewable credit, the DG smart inverter rebate, and the battery storage rebate. And again, please drop your questions in the chat. We'll have an extended question and answer session after today's presentation. So with that, I will turn it over to Shannon for today's presentation.
Thanks, Eric. So the benefits of going solar are still the same. After all these years, they're still the same. And most people are going solar for protection against rising energy costs. They want to take the ability to produce their electricity into their own hands and be independent. And also, many folks consider the environmental benefits of producing electricity from the sun rather than fossil fuels as icing on the cake. So the benefits are still the same all these years. And solar, if you're living in Illinois and you either have a solar system or you're considering one, Illinois is one of the strongest solar states in the country. Our portfolio standard, which is a goal to get the state of Illinois to a specific percentage of renewable energy in a specific amount of time, is 40% renewable energy by 2030. And the stretch goal is to get to 100% by 2050. And as of April 2025, we have 4.3 gigawatts or 4,321 megawatts of operating solar capacity that's been installed in the state of Illinois. That is enough to power, just under 750,000 homes. And there's just as much planned or under construction as well. So you can see there's quite a bit of growth, to include over 80,000 projects that have been installed, ranging from the very small up to the very large 200 megawatt utility scale system. The capacity of solar at homes and small businesses grew 14.5 times between 2019 and 2024, massive growth. And in 2024, Illinois had the 4th highest solar growth rate in the country. And all of that is due to very strong incentives and pro-solar policies, pro-renewables policies. Next slide. When we speak about incentives, about what incentives are available to offset the cost of going solar, the federal level incentive is a tax credit. And the current level of tax credit that people can claim on the basis or the total cost of their solar system installation is 30%. This includes labor, equipment, interconnection, everything. You can take, so that forms the basis of the 30% federal tax credit. It does not include a new roof unless the roof structure needs to be reinforced to support the solar. Then those reinforcement costs can be included in the tax basis, but not a new shingling or a new resurfacing of the roof. There's no maximum to the credit. There's no cap. But the home must be owned by the taxpayer who claims the credit. There are more details about like how to claim the tax credit at the IRS, and yeah, I think Eric might have put the link in the chat, but like the irs.gov and energystar.gov. And all you need to do at each of those sites, because I checked them thinking that they might have changed since the new administration is in office. But if you search solar energy, you can get to where you need to go at each of those sites. So what is the future of the federal tax credit? If you've been following the news, you might have questions. And you know, changes to the Inflation Reduction Act and the renewable energy incentives and other benefits of the IRA are under discussion currently in Congress, and the fate of them will be finally determined during the budget bill reconciliation or the budget bill the budget process. Possible outcomes kind of are ranging, but there is definite, and I was in DC about a month ago talking with Congress people, and there is definite interest on both sides at retaining the tax credits. And, you know, I think the original introduction of a federal tax credit for renewable energy was, I think, introduced by Republicans. So back in the day, so I don't know, 07-ish. So we have a lot of reason to believe the tax credits will remain. What we don't know is for how long, because right now the 30% tax credit is at 30% through 2032. And so what could happen is that sunset date or sunset year could come closer. But we just don't know. But what we feel very confident about is that projects installed in 2025 will be able to claim that 30% federal tax credit. I have my own feelings about how long it's going to take to get through the budget process, but we feel very strongly that systems energized in 2025 will not be at risk. To provide additional evidence that there is support for federal tax credit sort of across the aisle, there are documented letters and communications from 21 House Republicans and 4 Senate Republicans that support continuing renewable energy or solar specific tax credit. And I think Eric is sharing the link that the Solar Energy Industry Association has put out for folks to sign on to a letter to their Congress people in support of retention of the tax credits. So please take a moment to do that. It's very easy. You click on the link, take a moment to add your name, and it will automatically send a message to the Congress people in your district. So let's bring it down to a state level. like I mentioned earlier, the growth of solar in Illinois is being driven by very strong solar incentives. The main program, incentive program in Illinois is called the Illinois Shines program, and it's a solar renewable energy credit-based program. It's a program it's production-based. So the amount of money you get is based on the amount of solar electricity that your system produces. It's simple as that. And you get, for a system located behind your meter, you get a certain amount of money per 1,000 kilowatt hours that your system produces. And this happens through a contract that you sign up using an approved vendor, which Straight Up Solar has our own approved vendor for the Illinois Shines program. You sign up to enter into a contract to deliver renewable energy credits to the state so that the state can get to 40% renewable energy by 2030. This is the main mechanism the state is using to get to our renewable portfolio standard. And the Renewable Energy Credit Program is available to everybody in the state, no matter whether you're in an investor-owned utility territory like Ameren or ComEd or Mid-American, or if you're in Corn Belt or some other cooperative utility or municipal utility, everyone has access to it. And we'll talk a little bit more about the other incentives, the utility rebates. Those are only available in Ameren and ComEd. And you can see right there that the DG rebate, the smart inverter rebate, is $300 per kilowatt DC. Again, comes directly from the utility, and the battery storage rebate is $300 per kilowatt hour of storage at this moment as well. What are smart inverters? Well, it's a fancy name for a pretty typical inverter these days that is being installed with the vast majority of solar systems that are grid tied. Conventional inverters smart inverters have grid interactive capabilities. They operate in ways that enable the, again, like I've said here, grid interactivity. And when Tom has added some information here about conventional inverters, it lacked some of the sophistication that current smart inverters contain. But I will reiterate that almost all of the inverters installed today are considered smart and have that grid interactive capability. They can interact with the grid in ways that help build stability and resiliency on the grid. And so this is something that even currently there's a energy storage bill being considered in the state legislature to add more storage to the grid to increase the resiliency opportunity by these distributed energy storage systems interacting with the grid at different times. I'll leave it at that. How do they work? So smart inverters execute autonomous grid support functions in response to electric anomalies that might be sensed on the grid side. So that's sort of high voltage or low voltage outside the window that's programmed within the inverter. And it employs two mechanisms: voltage frequency ride-through capability, and it maintains grid connection during transient disturbances. So it's monitoring and maintaining grid connection even with some fluctuation on the grid side. Reactive power injection and absorption functionality also happens, and it facilitates voltage regulation across distribution networks. And as I mentioned earlier, smart inverters are a part of every design of ours. And then again, the rebate is $300 per kilowatt DC for smart inverters with Ameren and ComEd. All right, let's take a look at battery storage and the rebates, the reasons for adding storage, and what state rebates might be available for storage. So we have a lot of people asking about energy storage these days. They're probably 25% of the people who inquire about solar also inquire about battery storage. And if you want to further control your energy costs, control your power access in case of a grid failure, you know, and put net metering really on your side, especially if you are in a co-op or municipal utility that only credits excess energy that's exported to the grid at like a wholesale value or some very low value, then battery storage, you know, definitely is, you know, an important consideration. They're a nice alternative to noisy backup generators, and you don't have to worry about inputting a fuel, you know, finding fuel to power your generator, to power your home. And, you know, they also expand, or I would say extend the ability to buffer or protect yourself from volatility, cost volatility for fuels. So the vast majority of systems that we install and are installed in the United States are simply grid-tied systems. So what that means is when the grid goes down, there's a safety mechanism, safety element in the inverter, which requires that the inverter shut down. So if the inverter doesn't sense stable voltage on the grid side, it will shut down. It's a safety mechanism in the event of a storm and downed power lines to protect workers that might be repairing the grid. So solar without storage needs the grid to operate in a financial way that's beneficial. So when the power goes out, solar doesn't work. But if you add storage, you will have backup power when the grid goes down. There's little to no maintenance associated with batteries. They have a warranted lifetime, just like the solar. And it, you know, obvious statement is that it improves your electric bill savings as well, because when operating in conjunction with your solar system. The rebate is $300 per kilowatt hour. I should say that that's being the value of the rebate is being discussed currently within the Illinois Commerce Commission process, but currently it's $300 per kilowatt hour. I do expect that value to potentially go lower, but it's at $300 currently. It's not available in cooperative and municipal utilities. It is a utility rebate, investor-owned utility rebate. So it's only ComEd and Ameren. And one stipulation that comes with taking the rebate is that customers have to choose a sort of time of use or real-time pricing electricity rate. So in exchange for getting this money up front, which is paid within 60 days of your system being energized, you have to go to a rate that further enables this interactivity of the smart inverter with the grid at times of need. So there are definite benefits to adding battery storage. Again, you know, if you're somebody who is very interested in monitoring your electricity use and managing in a way where you're using electricity at times of lowest electricity rates, if you have smart appliances and smart thermostat, let's say you have a span panel where you're really tightly managing the use of electricity in your home, adding battery storage is fantastic. It's just one more tool to manage and make your home very, very efficient. So, you know, you can use electricity stored in your battery at times of high electricity rates, and then allow the battery to charge up at times when the sun is out And then, you know, like I said, make use of the battery electricity when those time of use rates are at their highest. Or battery power, I should say. So let's look at the incentives. In total here, as I mentioned, Illinois has some of the best incentives in the country for going solar. That's why you're seeing solar panels all over the place right now in Illinois. When you add up the federal tax credit plus the Illinois Renewable Energy Credit value, payment value, and then the smart inverter or DG rebate, the net cost is 25% of the total. So the incentives are about 75% of the system cost, you know, in combination with the federal tax credit and the 2 cash payments. It's quite good. It's even better for commercial because commercial systems have the depreciation as well. So when you add commercial depreciation on the system, it gets to closer to 85%. And it's really easy to go solar with Straight Up Solar. We have 5 simple steps. If you want to get started, you just want a quote. You want more information about how much solar might be able to be installed on your own roof or in a ground mount next to your home if you live out in a rural area. Our project developers would be happy to give you a free estimate and answer your questions. And then it would go through our standard process through design and project management. And we have the best installation crews in the state. We're very proud of the work that they do and the expertise that they carry.
Again, in the chat, we have, if you want to get started and get a quote, feel free to visit our website at straightupsolar.com, or you can email us at hello@straightupsolar to get started on your solar PV system. Again, Shannon Fulton, our Vice President of Pre-Construction and a board member of the Illinois Solar Energy and Storage Association. Thanks for all your wisdom of why Illinois is a great state for storage. And then Tom Ohnemus, our commissioning specialist. Thank you, Tom, for being on the road. Drive safely at home. Thanks for explaining electricity to us. I appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody.
With that, have a good evening, everybody. Thank you very much. And again, we'll be sending out this recording out to you guys tomorrow. Have a great night. Bye-bye.